you don't have to live this way. You don't have to live this way. Y'all, God has called and created us to live up here. But many of us have made a decision. We wake up every day and we make a decision that we're going to live down here. God didn't create us, y'all. God didn't create us to live on this level. I ain't telling you what I heard, y'all. I'm telling you what I know. I went through a season where I was so frustrated. I knew I was living far beneath my potential. I knew that God was calling me to another level. I knew that I was not doing the things that God was calling me to do. I knew it. And as I was preparing for this, y'all, I had to really think, Kira, why did you settle? And y'all, I settled because I couldn't see what was possible for me. I couldn't see it, right? And I couldn't see it because I didn't know who I was. I did not fully know who I was because y'all, listen, when you know who you are, when you are rooted and grounded in who you are, when you are convinced of who you are, it is really hard. It is hard. It's hard to settle for less than what God has promised you when you know who you are, when you know what he's called you to, when you know who he has created you to be, right? It's hard to settle. So we settle a lot of the times because we don't know who we are. And because we don't know who we are, we can't see with that spiritual eye. We can't see all that is possible for us. We can't see it. And we end up settling just like the children of Israel. Y'all know we talked about the children of Israel. Y'all, we know that the children of Israel were in bondage. They were in physical slavery, right? In Egypt. They cried out to God, y'all, to save them, to deliver them from their bondage. God sends Moses to deliver them, to lead them out of slavery, out of Egypt, out of bondage. God called Moses to lead the children of Israel to this land of Canaan, this land flowing with milk and honey. And then, y'all, when we jump ahead, if you jump ahead, and I want y'all to go back, please go back and read this for yourself. Read the whole story. And if you jump ahead to Numbers, as they get closer to the land of Canaan, right? They go through all these obstacles. They go through so many challenges as Moses is leading the children of Israel. You know, God has to part the Red Sea because Pharaoh is chasing them. They go through all this stuff. But as they get close to the land of Canaan, they are encountering so many obstacles that even in the book of Numbers, they decide that they say, I don't know why God has led us this way. I don't know why God has led us to this place. We would have been better off being in Egypt. We would have been better off as slaves, right? And they make a decision, y'all, to go back. They make a decision to settle. And that is exactly what we do. We start doing whatever God has called us to do. We start living the way we know God has called us to live. And as soon as we start encountering obstacles, right? As soon as it starts to get tough, we say, God, I don't know why. Y'all, as soon as it gets tough, we say, God, I don't know why you led me this way. I don't know why you told me to do this thing. I don't know why you told me to start this business. I don't know why you told me to start this ministry. I have no idea why you told me to start making YouTube videos. I don't know, right? And we make a decision to go back. We make a decision. We say, I would have been better off where I was. I'm running into so many obstacles. I have to learn so many new skills. I have to do so much to do this thing that you have called me to do. I don't know why you led me this way. I don't know why you told me to do this thing, right? And we make a decision that we're going to go back. We make a decision that we're going to live on a level that is less than the level that God has called and created us to live. That's what the children of Israel were doing. They encountered obstacles and they all rallied together, right? They were all upset and they said, hey, we would have been better off in Egypt. I don't know why God told us to come here. I don't know why he led us this way, but we need to go back because we would have been better off in bondage. And that is what we do. We say, I would have been better off where I was. I'm going through so much, God, trying to do what you have called me to do. I would have been better off if I stayed where I was. And I came to tell y'all today, I came to tell you, do not settle. Do not settle. Don't settle in your marriage. You know the marriage God has called you to have. You know the wife God has called you to be. You know the husband God has called you to be. Don't settle. Don't settle. I don't care what kind of marriage everybody else have. That's none of your concern. You know what God has called you to do, who God has called you to be. Don't settle in your finances. You know, the word says that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children and his children's children, right? You know, God has called you to faithfully steward your finances, right? Don't settle for barely getting by. Don't settle for robbing Peter to pay Paul. Don't settle for barely getting by physically. Don't settle for barely getting by mentally and emotionally. Don't settle for barely getting by in your career. Don't settle for barely getting by in your marriage. You know who God has called and created you to be. Do not settle. And y'all know once we make a decision to settle, what happens? Our children settle. Our children make a decision that they are going to accept less than what God says is rightfully theirs. Our children make a decision that they're going to live on a level that they weren't created to live on. Do not settle. Make a decision. Make a decision that you want everything that God has promised to you. Joy, unspeakable joy, that is what God has promised you. Make a decision that you want it. A peace, y'all, God has promised us a peace that surpasses all understanding. Make a decision that you want it. You want it. God has promised us that he will open up the windows of heaven. Y'all, that's the word. That he will open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing so big that you don't have room to receive it. Make a decision that you want that. Don't accept less than that. If that's what God says you can have, if that's what God says rightfully belongs to you, make a decision that I want it. Do not settle. Don't settle, y'all. Do not settle. So do not settle. Y'all, you have been fearfully and wonderfully made. Do not settle. You have been chosen. You've been set apart. We already said that. You've been chosen. When you're chosen, you don't settle. When you've been chosen, when you know you've been chosen, y'all, you don't settle. You don't settle because you don't have to settle. When I know what's possible for me, when I know what rightfully belongs to me, I don't settle. I don't have a reason to settle when I know what I could have, right? Why would I settle? Why would I live down here when I know I could live up here? Why would I do that? Y'all don't settle. All right. Y'all, that's it. Bye.